This is Heart-repreneur Radio, maximizing your personal and business results by leading with your heart. With your host, Terri Levine. Listen every week as Terri tackles the topics that will help you become a successful heart-centered entrepreneur. Be sure to read the blog posts at www.heartrepreneur.com/blog. Come back often and add this show to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe in iTunes. You can also follow Terri on Twitter at MentorTerri and on Facebook.com/Heart-repreneur Terri Levine. And now here's Terri.
Hello and welcome to Heart-repreneur Radio and TV show with Terri Levine. I'm your co-host, Val McGallant, and I'm excited to be here today. You can connect with Terri, me, and other like-minded heart-based business owners at Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine on Facebook. So go check it out. And if you like this show, please hit that like button, subscribe, and we always love those 5-star reviews. Today's quote: "You can find excuses for anything, or you can find solutions and work through them, which in the end will bring happiness." Byron Pulsifer. I hope I said his name right. Today's show topic, we are talking about no excuses. And our special guest this week is Roger Auger. Roger is a successful real estate investor and author of No Excuses: How Anyone Can Overcome a Rough Start. Born and bred in Hamilton, Ontario, Roger took himself from a failing student in a poor household to managing hundreds of doors as a property manager. Roger now runs his company, Rocket Roger Properties, with his family, focused on solution-based real estate investments in the Hamilton area. Growing up in a family with no support for a successful future, Roger's book and work cover what it means to hustle and take charge of your own growth. From paying his parents' mortgage at 13 to running a successful real estate empire, Roger is the co-founder of Hamilton Basket Brigade charity, feeding families in his local area. Welcome to the show, Roger.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I am excited to have you here. I love the subject of no excuses. I think that it is really easy for people to get caught up in the reasons for why they can't do this or they choose to do that. And so the subject of no excuses, I think, is really valuable, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs. And I love that you're an example of that in your community.
No, thank you. I believe it. I believe it as well. Like when someone says an excuse, I just kind of laugh at them because they actually convince themselves that that's the reason why they can't, when it's not. And if they really, really want to, like you said, they can do anything. If up to a certain point, you can't be a professional basketball player and you're 5 feet tall, right? But you can do what you want to do if you really put your heart to it. And I was tired of hearing people saying, "Oh, I can't invest in this. I have soccer. I can't go see this. My daughter's hockey," or whatever the excuses they came up with. It's just an excuse for them to get out of what they want to do. But at the end of the day, there's no such thing as excuses. So that's why I have a book saying no excuses.
Well, I think too, I think excuses they're more of a way for me to get you to buy into what I've already bought into.
Yeah, exactly. And if people actually know me, when they do actually will talk to me, they'll find out that I'm a terrible speller and terrible at grammar, and I can't do anything to do with any kind of writing at all. Like I don't understand. Like I was in a car accident when I was younger, and I can't write properly or spell properly. And everybody that knows me for years always made fun of me for that reason. But I was very strong in other avenues, like an entrepreneurship. So I always had an excuse saying I can't do this. So I wrote the book to show the fact that I can do it if I really worked hard. And it took me 1.5 years to write this small book, but I did it. So I don't have an excuse not to write properly now.
Well, and at the end of the day, finding solutions, yes. Right? It is about finding solutions. You can write the book, and even if you're a great writer, you're still going to have an editor. You're still going to have all of those things that step in and support us, right?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it is. And honestly, so when it comes to people that you've experienced in your life, and you're talking about no excuses, and even with yourself, when a person puts down the excuses, when I put down my excuses, I actually have an opportunity to see what solutions might be.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I agree. Yes, I agree. I do.
So tell me a little bit about how your no excuses attitude has supported you with growing your business.
So when I was, oh, that's a good question. I'm going to explain that. um, I wouldn't take a no for an answer. So if I want to, say for example, I want my first house I was going to buy. I kept on getting rejected from the banks for a mortgage. So I kept on trying. And then when I talked to the banks, when they said you couldn't get the mortgage because of this reason, I would fix that reason. And then I would try to find a way to overcome that reason. And I did. So then I went back to a different bank and I kept on doing it. And then finally one bank said, yes. I was like the happiest kid in the world. And then once they said yes, then I learned so many reasons how to get the mortgage that it was easier for me to get the next 5 mortgages because I put those experiences together and got it. So there wasn't any excuse for me not to do it. I just had to figure a way around the system to do it. And then the next step was the renovation part of it. A lot of people kept on saying, you can't do that for this reason, you can't do that for this reason. Well, then I brought the experts in to find a way to do it. So I kept on seeing when someone said you can't do something, I was like, oh yeah, we'll make a bet. And I figured a way to do it. And even though it took me longer or something that I had to find a way of doing it and myself by doing research or talking to other people or kept on trying, I just kept on doing it. And that realized to myself that there is no excuse if you want to do something, you can do it. So, and then when I started to talk to a lot of investors to help build up my portfolio and their portfolio, they kept on coming up with excuses like, oh, I can't get this mortgage because my wife doesn't make enough money, or I don't have time to manage the property because I can't deal with tenants, or I don't know anything about tenants. So then I started educating people on those procedures, and then they overcame their excuses, and then they had no excuses at that point. And then they started to buy properties, and then I started managing the properties. And that's how I built up the over 100 doors. It was like 250 doors I was managing in my portfolio, because I was educating people saying, why are you not doing this? Okay, let's do this. And I always overcome their excuses to make it actually reality and showing them how it works. And then I sold that company and I started another one. But and my kids, and a perfect example was my kids play professional. They play rep sports, and they always were tired or always think, I can't do this, Dad, because it's too hard. I'm like, well, you're making an excuse. You can do it. You just have to work harder for doing it. So then I started teaching my kids how to overcome their excuses on everything. And now they're done really well in sports and then in school. So because they figure a way how around the excuses that they're making. And what I found was a lot of people came up with an excuse and they believed it, and that was their way out. But they still wanted to do it, but they just found an easier way out because they just came up with an excuse. And so my clients didn't really like the fact that I kept on overcoming their explanations, or what you want to call it, their excuses that were not really excuses. So yeah, that's how it basically came. And then I'm a strong believer you can do anything you want to do if you can do it. And then, well, with my issues with spelling and speaking and my grammar, I had a hard time explaining what I'm explaining now. So then I got the book with help. I got professionals to help me write the book, because I want to show that I can actually do what you think I couldn't do. And all the people that made fun of me and torment me in my spelling and grammar, I actually sent them a copy of my book.
Awesome.
Just to show that I overcame that issue that I had. And then I got a lot of good replies back. And then some people actually start buying houses and investing in real estate more, because now they realize that it was just an excuse, and there's nothing you can do if you put your heart to it. And I'm a strong believer, and I have a necklace on that says, a little charm says, "Believe in yourself." And that's my family motto is believe in yourself. And all my kids and my wife all have the same necklace. And every time they are having a hard time with something, they will touch their necklace, and they taught them to believe in yourself, so then they can overcome their rough exams or their workout for their sports. Or if my son wants to do something with skateboarding, he can just keep on trying because he kept on believing in himself. So it's our family motto: believe in yourself, and it works.
That's awesome. It's wonderful that you gave your children that kind of touchstone.
Yeah, because when I grew up, I didn't have any of this stuff, right? So I had to figure all this out myself. And my parents were the opposite. We're just, watch TV and collect checks, whatever, from the government. And that's okay. And I didn't want that lifestyle, because that's not the way you're supposed to live. And my kids have a new stepping stone where they can do what they want to do. So if my son wants to, for example, become a lawyer because he's going to law school, well, sure, let him go to law school. If he doesn't like to do it, then he goes something else, because he has the opportunity to do what he wants to do and work at what he wants to do and love what he wants to do. Because if you don't love what you're doing for a living, it's not good. So
yeah. Well, it's a lot easier to come up with excuses if you're not in love with what's going on for you.
Right. I love what I do right now, and my kids love what they're doing right now. And if they want to switch, they can switch, because it's torment. It's hard to do stuff before I went into real estate, I was selling hot dogs and doing cell phones for Bell Canada. I hate those jobs. I hate it. And I just knew that was a stepping stone for my next level, what I want to do. And for the last 15 years, I love what I do. And I'm happier. My kids are happy. My wife's happier because I'm happier.
Hey there, it's Terri Levine. I just wanted to pop in for just a moment as you're listening here to Heart-repreneur Radio and watching Heart-repreneur TV. We have so many new and exciting things going on. So you can watch a free masterclass. Highly recommend to get a conveyor belt of qualified prospects. That's at TL, like Terri Levine, tlwebinar.com. Head over there, enjoy it, keep listening and sharing the show.
What I heard was one, work with what you've got. Choose that those are stepping stones rather than necessarily obstacles. Find the answer for your obstacles. And then from that, you actually started educating others, like how you found the answers to, your mortgage and all of those different things that you did as you built your business. Those became the stepping stones for you to be able to educate others.
Yes.
What I also heard was that the excuse is the period on the sentence of your life.
Yes, pretty much.
And
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So that's, I think the biggest thing that I heard from what you were sharing is that excuse, that's the period on the sentence. That's the end of the paragraph. You're done the minute you put that excuse in there. Whereas if you put down the excuse, then really what you've got is a ... for opportunity.
Right.
Instead. Would that be correct?
Yeah. Overcome it. Like what is stopping you from the excuse? I can't give you an example of excuse. But I just don't give up. Just don't give up. Seriously, if you really want to do the item you want to do, if you want to become a professional electrician and you have an excuse because you have a sore back, well, figure a way to fix your back and become an electrician, right? Whatever you want to do, you can do it. You just have to take steps to it. And there is, I hate the word no excuses, or I hate the word I can't. When someone says I can't do that, I get so annoyed and so pissed. It's like, why are you saying that? You can do it. Just figure a way to do it.
Well, and so if you choose that you do not want to do it because you don't love it, that's completely different from I can't.
Yes. I can't is an excuse just to stop you from doing it. And it's not really, there's no such thing I can't. To me, or to my family, or to my friends now. because they used to make fun of me so much when I wrote that book. Before I wrote the book, now they make fun of me. They say, how the hell did you write a book? It's funny. I have professionals help me write it. And
because I didn't use my excuse.
Exactly.
I went out and I found a way.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. You got to do it. And there's
awesome.
The best thing is the way our society works is that if you have passion about something and you want to do it, there's thousands of people out there that will help you do it. You just have to find them. They'll be honored to say, you know what, I'm going to help you do it. Like when I want to learn the trick, right now I do flipping properties, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted to learn how the electricians and the plumbers and HVAC, all they work and what they do, how the system runs. They taught me. They had no problem showing me how everything runs properly and what you need to do to look for. So they love to taught me. And they said, like, every time I ask somebody something and they are doing it, they have no problem showing you. So I don't understand. If you need to find help, there's people that will help you. They will love to help you. There's some jackasses, that won't help you, but there's majority of people who want to help you succeed. They want to help you succeed. So they'll show you things. So just reach out. If you can't figure it out, reach out. And that's what I did when I first bought my first house. The mortgage company usually they just say, no, you're accepted. But I questioned them back saying why I was not accepted. And I found those three items that they're saying I'm not accepted. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, okay, how do I fix those 3 items? They told me. So then I fixed them. And then I went to a different mortgage company. Oh, you have to fix this. Okay, I'll fix that. And now it's no problem for me to get a mortgage for a property because I know what I have to do to keep going. And because they taught me and they showed me because they want to. You just have to ask. Sorry, that's my dogs. I have 4 dogs. I love dogs. I rescue dogs, and I have 4 of them. And we have a baby gate, and one dog knows how to jump over it, and so they go over and take it down. Yeah, so that's what the dog did.
So, what I also heard with what you just shared, was it actually the people who aren't willing to help could become an excuse.
Yes.
If you wanted to do it that way, or you could keep solution looking by continuing to find the people who are willing to help.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to make sure that our listeners know how to connect with you. What is the best way for our listeners to connect with you?
So the best way, I'm actually going to give my personal email address. It's roger@rocketrental.ca. I am building up a business right now, so I don't have a website designated right now for my book. It's because I want to build this business up, and then actually want to give it to my son, and show him how to run it because he loves real estate as much as I do. So I want him to learn that business. And then I will start concentrating on something else. But when my son, he's very passionate about it, so I want to help him. And as a father, you do. And I have lots of experience in it, so I want to teach him that too. So that's why I'm using that email address right now.
Perfect. Okay. And I think you're also, what social media are you on as well?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Sell Your Home Fast in Hamilton. Sell Your Home Fast is the Instagram.
Okay.
I can say it to you. I just have very little social media there because I'm very busy. I got 4 projects on the go right now, and I wasn't expecting to have 4 projects. Just the 4 opportunities came. And the other thing too, I want to say, Steve Jobs. I want to quote him on this: when someone gives you an opportunity, take it. Figure out how to deal with it later. What do I mean?
Okay.
So I got 4 opportunities that came up fast, and they were very good and lucrative opportunities after I'm done with them. So I took them. And then now I'm wrapping them up now, and I'm probably going to take a month off or so because I've been very busy for the last 3 months doing this, 3 or 4 months. So yeah, that's the thing too.
Okay. And after thinking about it, I think another way for people to connect to your work, and especially the book, is they can go to Amazon, Indigo, any of those normal booksellers and pick up the book No Excuses, and that'll give them
Yes.
a good connection with you and the idea of no excuses.
And they can hear the stories that we have in there, how I overcome multiple different ways, things that happen in my life by pushing no excuses. And it's basically my life story in that book. I left some little things out, but majority of my life stories in that little book.
Awesome.
To inspire others to get moving, because life is awesome. Like life is golden. And if you're very happy and you love what you're doing and you work hard, you're going to have an amazing life. And you can travel, do what you want. Like you can see who you want, spend time when you want. It's good.
I love that, because what you're basically sharing is that your background, your history, your experiences, they don't have to be your excuses. They can really be your reason to look for the solutions.
Yes. Don't let those things happen in the past win.
Oh, I like that.
So if something happened to you, I was abused as a kid from my father and my mother. So I'm not going to let them win anymore. So I'm going to succeed in my life. I'm going to overcome what they've done, and I've done it. I've financially passed them huge, and my kids will never be experiencing what I experienced, and they'll have a better life because of me winning. So I'm winning now. They're no longer controlling me. Those things that happened to me is no longer controlling me. I moved on, and I'm going to live my life now, not their life. So that's why my book tells you about too.
Awesome. So, and what you've also shared is that you're allowing the ripple effect of the work that you've done for yourself to go out there. I mean, you're impacting your own family, you're impacting other families in your community, you're impacting the people that you support through your real estate investing and the education that you provide. And I think the beauty in that is that, I mean, and we all, I think we all have that opportunity, and it really is that if I can do it, then so can you.
Yes. If I can write a book, you can do anything. Because I'm telling you, I had the hardest time spelling and my stuff doesn't make sense. If I can write a book, you can do anything. Like that's the way it is. It's just, yeah, definitely.
I use Grammarly all the time.
Even on my Facebook post, people are like, man, how the hell did you write a book? Like the stuff that they say, because it's funny.
It's really cool to see things like that. Like I know as I was growing up, mathematics was what I did well, because mathematics were reliable.
Yes. Yeah.
It was A plus B equals C kind of thing. It was just, if you followed the equation, you always ended up at the same place. And right. So I loved that reliability of math. And then I found that even though I wasn't, like, I barely passed English, and yet I find here I am, I'm hosting a radio show and a TV show. I'm communicating all the time, and communication has become a passion of mine. Yeah. Even though that wasn't what I excelled at growing up, it's still, right. I found a way, because it is a passion of mine.
Yep. And you're happy, and life's good for you because you're doing what you love.
Exactly.
You didn't have an excuse for it. You didn't stop yourself from doing it because of your issue of the English. You just did what you want to do, and you figured a way to do it. That's awesome.
And it's funny too, because not to say that I don't come up with excuses from time to time, because I do. Yeah. And because I've grown my solution muscle, I don't stay in those excuses for any length of time. And what I'm hearing is that's the way it's been for you as well, is I might have an excuse in this moment, but it's not permanent.
Right. And you got to figure a way around it. You do, right? And it's really hard mentally to to accept that, because there's certain times, there's certain days where you're just down. Like you just, you get reminded of something happened, and you have a bad day or a bad week, whatever it is, but you have to figure a way to not let that complete control you, because that's just an excuse to slow you down. And there is times where I do relapse, things that happen. If I see something on TV, or if I see a dad doing something to a kid in public or whatever, right? It triggers stuff, right? And then you gotta and then it brings you down a bit, but then you're kind of like, okay. And then you kind of move it off. Like you have to. And if you keep on drawing on that, that's just an excuse to not do what you are meant to do. Everybody on the planet is meant to do something. Everybody on the planet is good at something. It doesn't have to be a professional sport or an actress or a singer or a musician. It could be anything else. An entrepreneur, it could be an electrician, plumber, a roofer. They can be good at something, selling something. And if you find that leash, you're going to love it. And not finding that leash and coming up with, I work 60 hours a week. Well, that's just an excuse. Like I used to work 120 hours a week. So to me, that was not going to stop me from coming where I wanted to be.
Absolutely. Well, and I find too that the more I grow and the more I expand past my my excuses or my history, is that I don't stay in those places for as long either. Stuff comes up, it reminds you, it impacts you, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that as you continue to practice overcoming obstacles, you actually, or I actually find that I don't stay in those places as long either, because I'm in the practice of overcoming.
It's history for a reason.
Exactly. Right? There's a reason why that rear view mirror is small.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yes. Yeah. It's history for reasons behind you. You have to move on. Don't let that thing, that object or that situation win. There's no excuse for that. Sorry. I had to jump that way.
But it's true. It's really true. It's like that parable about the donkey in the hole. People kept, he's done. I'm going to bury him. We're going to put the dirt on him, but he kept shaking it off. And that was lifting him up and up out of the hole. Well, that's kind of the same thing. We can shake it off and stand on it and move on to.
Yeah. It could make you a better person. You could help somebody. If you figure a way to close it off, or not close it off, but to deal with it and handle it, you can teach others that happened, something same thing or similar thing happened to them, and you can actually lift them up, which is when you lift somebody else up, you're lifting yourself up, right? That's why I have the Bats Brigade charity when I co-host it, is that we do it 3 times a year. We are giving families an opportunity to see that there's good nature in other people, and we impact the kids a lot, because we show the kids that you don't have to be in a situation. There's other people out there that are doing well, and they want to help you. And they always get copied by my book, or they get little snippets of No Excuses, right? Showing that you can overachieve it, even though it's not impacting them that minute, or maybe it might help them 10 years from now, because they can give it back to somebody else. Oh, I remember I got free winter jackets and free winter clothing because this guy, gave it to me when I was a kid. I'm going to do the exact same thing to somebody else. So we're hoping that the ripple effects does it, right?
Exactly.
So that's why, if you overcome your excuse and then you excel, teach others how to do it. And you can be lifted both ways.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. So for our listeners, I want to make sure that you know that you can connect to Roger, especially through his book at Amazon. What's the title of your book again?
No Excuses. How anyone can overcome a rough start.
Perfect. Awesome. And you can search for him on Instagram and Facebook as well. Yeah. And Roger, thank you so much for your time and sharing the wisdom that you have grown over these years, and that I hear you are sharing with your family and your son and your community.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. get others out there hear it.
This was fantastic. It was validating for me as well, and I really appreciate you sharing what you've learned. And I want to thank you, listeners, for coming and sharing your time with us today at Heart-repreneur Radio and TV. And I want to remind you to go to Facebook, search up for Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine, and you'll be able to connect with other heart-based business owners like myself, like Terri and Roger. And thank you so much for your time, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to Heart-repreneur Radio, maximizing your personal and business results by leading with your heart, with your host, Terri Levine. This show is produced every week for your enjoyment and education. To make sure you never miss a single show, add us to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe in iTunes. You can also read Terri's latest blog posts at www.heartrepreneur.com/blog, or follow Terri on Twitter at MentorTerri, and on Facebook.com/Heart-repreneur Terri Levine. Your questions and comments are always welcome and appreciated. Send them to Terri on either Facebook or Twitter. Thank you for listening.